G'day Darkrealmers, it's horror author and illustrator Michael James Elliott here with you again, and in this episode of the Dark Realm Diaries we're going to be taking a look at one of the best psychological thrillers you're likely to see. It was released in 2012 and I'm talking about Let's Talk About Kevin. Let's get started. Okay, Darkrealmers, this review was suggested by our very own Darkrealmer, Christy Stratos, and I'm kicking myself. Not because she suggested it, because I actually forgot it. It's one of the best psychological dramas and thrillers out there, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it didn't even cross my mind to review this movie. So thank you so much for suggesting this, Christy. That's great, and I'm more than happy to review it. Okay, I'll just start off and let you know that this is based on a book by Lionel Shriver. Okay, now I did some research and it's published by Serpent or Serpentale Press, okay, and unfortunately, Darkrealmers, it's not available as a ebook, which I find really strange in these days. I mean, the movie came out in 2012, so considering the interest that the film generated, I would have thought that the publishers would jump on the chance to reach a wider audience for the author. So you may have to go, if you're living in, say, America, you may have to check out your local bookstore, and if there's not one in your town, you might have to check Barnes & Noble or one of the big chains. Here in Australia, and I think possibly New Zealand too, you can check Collins, and of course in Britain you can check W.H. Smith. Okay, so now that's just a little bit about the book. I thought I'd whet your appetites and I'll show you the trailer.
Every day it's getting closer, going faster than a roller coaster. Love like yours will surely come my way. You just have to rock him a little bit.
Did you say mommy?
No.
Shouldn't he be talking by now?
I wouldn't worry about it.
Ball?
No.
He's just a boy. Just a sweet little boy.
Just because you're used to something doesn't mean you like it. You're used to me.
Great shot, Kevin. You're natural.
First he cries too much, then he's too quiet. And you see it as some kind of personal vendetta?
You think I'm exaggerating?
Listen, buddy, it's easy to misunderstand when you hear it out of context.
Why would I not know the context?
Franklin, pick up the phone.
He's just a sweet little
Pick up the
boy.
phone.
Just a sweet little boy. That's what boys do.
He's just a sweet little boy. Not. What we see here, Darkrealmers, is a birth and growth of a fully fledged psychopath. And it is terrifying because normally we only see movies about psychopaths when they're adults or, you know, when they're children. This movie gives you a clue as to the psychopathic personality. Now, in the movie, Tilda Swinton is convinced there's something wrong with her son. You know, he cries and cries, but he stops when the father picks him up, okay? He won't interact with her. He has no empathy with her. These are classic signs of a sociopathic personality. Now, you may remember I did a video not so long ago about how to identify a sociopath or a psychopath, okay? The link's up there if you want to check, okay? And one of the things I mentioned was that even though these are conditions that are both put together as associative personality disorder, there are a few different things. Now, as I said in that video, a psychopath is born, but a sociopath is made. In other words, a psychopath is born with the psychopathic personality, okay? And a sociopath usually undergoes some sort of trauma, usually in childhood, that triggers the sociopathic personality, okay? Now, the psychopath personality, it's not just a mental illness, it's actually a physical difference in the brain. These people don't have the same empathy that we do, okay? Now, you've got to imagine that as we evolved as a species and as we became more and more social, starting from, just family units, then clans, then so forth, the ability to empathise with others was a key to our species' survival, okay? Now, we wouldn't have survived as a species if we didn't offer help to others, if we didn't feed others, because we'd expect the same from us. It's just part of our psyche and our social development that's been hot-wired into us by evolution, okay? So you can see, just from that trailer, why this is such a frightening movie, because I've always said it, and I love writing about it too, children are the creepiest characters, okay? Now, in the movie, as I've said, Tilda Swinton, the mother, is convinced something's wrong with the boy, okay? But we're not immediately taken to, her problems with the child. This all starts out as she's almost vilified by the town she lives in, and that's because, okay, I don't know if I should call this a spoiler or not, but Kevin actually plans to perform a high school massacre, and you've seen his favourite weapon. Okay, I'll just say that. Now, Tilda Swinton is desperate to understand why he did this. She visits him in jail. She tries to converse with him. She tries to talk to him, and he's not letting anything out, And you'll see as we watch Kevin grow up, how he can fake an affection for his father, but he doesn't even bother faking that with his mother. And that makes her come across as more paranoid. And that's one of the most frightening things about this movie, Darkrealmers. We have a fear that, not being believed is really, paramount within us. And imagine you're a mother and you have a terrifying child capable of great evil, but no one else around you will believe you. That's what Tilda Swinton's character goes through in this movie. And you can understand when you just see that trailer why she won an Academy Award for that, because this is one of those movies that slowly builds up. We get that feeling that there's something not quite right about Kevin, but it grows and it builds, and it's very subtle at first. Now, in the movie, they have another child, okay? And a daughter, and she adores Kevin, okay? And he's very good at pretending that he loves her too. But what he does is just beyond belief. I'm not going to spoil that bit for you, but what makes this more terrifying for me, not only as a movie lover, but as a writer, is that it's very hard for us that have that empathy built in to understand how someone can't. And you've got to remember that with a psychopath, they don't feel anything, you know. Kevin, shooting someone with a bow and arrow, that's nothing, you know. There's no feelings of remorse or guilt. There's no concern for the victim's pain and so forth. And Tilda Swinton can see this growing and developing, okay? She's powerless to stop it. And that's probably something that the movie does so very well, is it we see this parallel between the rise of the psychopathic personality of Kevin, coupled with this inability and this helplessness by Tilda Swinton. And of course, her husband, John C. Reilly, and I was really amazed that he was in this movie, because he's generally known for his comedy parts, Darkrealmers, because you may have seen him in films like Step Brothers with Will Ferrell. But he plays a great part because, you know, Kevin is very good at manipulating his father and taking an interest in him. And so, of course, John C. Reilly is convinced it's Tilda Swinton's problem. And that's probably one of the most terrifying things about this movie, is the growth of this psychopathic personality. And we know that with everything that's happening, the slow build-up, that something terrifying is going to happen to the family and to the townsfolk. And it's not as though Tilda Swinton's character is you know, going to be this brave heroine that stops this psychopath, okay? Because the writers have very cleverly made her torn between knowing that this son is evil, but she's a mother. And, you know, mothers have that inbuilt love for their children, you know. I'm sure Hitler's mother still loved him, you know. And mothers too, and I hope I'm not offending any mums out there, but mums also have an automatic defence mechanism with their children. You know, it's, you know, someone will say something, oh no, that's not, my boy wouldn't do that, or my child wouldn't do that, and it's natural, because none of us want to think that our children are evil, okay? So you can feel, you actually feel so sorry for Tilda Swinton, and you loathe Kevin. You actually loathe Kevin. But at the same time, the movie, because they're so good at manipulating people, psychopaths, we actually feel, oh, well, maybe he'll change. Maybe we forget sometimes that he's a psychopath, and maybe, you know, there'll be something that'll, you know, make him better or whatever. And that's very clever, because as I've pointed out before, you cannot cure a psychopath. It is part of the brain that's not working, okay? It's just not there. And of course, there's degrees of psychopathic personality, okay, as I've mentioned before once again. But look, this is a truly, truly wonderful movie. I'm so grateful Christy suggested it, okay, because it's not horrifying in itself, as in, you know, lots of blood and gore and everything. Now, there is the scene where he commits his massacre, but it's done in very quick successive shots. The director doesn't linger. We get the idea, and we see it mainly from Kevin's point of view. And the total blank face as he's just standing there shooting people is just terrifying. And the fact that he calmly lets himself be arrested and so forth. And that's where this movie gets its strength from. It's, as I said, it's not blood and guts and gore. It's very much a drama of the mind, okay, of two totally opposite people, and one is trying to understand the other, and that's Tilda Swinton trying to understand her son. And when we come to the scene. One of the best scenes in the movie is where she's in prison and she's confronting her son, trying to make some sort of sense out of all this, okay? It's just brilliant. Now, I've, loved the movie, and it's made me dying to read the book. And I'm sure that they've kept very much to the book, okay? There may be some changes, because there always are, okay? But if you like dark psychological thrillers, this one's for you, okay, Darkrealmers? So there you go. That's my review of We Need to Talk About Kevin, okay? I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've liked it too, Christy. And remember, any suggestions you've got for movie reviews, I'm more than happy to do the research for. So leave a comment or tell me what you want to hear me review in the comment section. And if you've liked our video, give us a thumbs up, okay? And don't forget to subscribe so we can keep bringing you some more great horror-related content, okay? So that's it for this review, Darkrealmers. As I say, stay in the light, and I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.